welcome to GESS Dubai. You've just finished your talk on the immersive technology stage. Do you want to tell me a bit about what you were talking about?
Yeah, myself and Ciarán were doing a session on augmented reality. So we start off our sessions a little bit differently and ask why to the participants and kind of put the onus on them to give us the answers as opposed to us giving them the answers, which makes our job a little bit easier. So what we did today was demonstrate augmented reality apps and ask how these could be applied in the classroom, and more importantly, why would you apply them in the classroom?
And I think what's nice about the setup of the stage there is it's quite, well, it's immersive, but everyone is encouraged to join in.
That's correct, yes. I suppose, do we pride ourselves? I'm not sure if that's the correct word, but we don't usually have a PowerPoint presentation. We like to have participants, the audience members participate in the session and have a hands-on experience, so that when it does come to our reverse Q&A where we ask them the questions of why, they've actually had an opportunity to experience AR for themselves and see it from a student's perspective as well, and we think that's important for any sort of presentation, that we give people the opportunity to experience things as a student and then make a decision for themselves whether it will be useful in the classroom.
And I think one of the things we've seen here is how sort of AR, VR, they're all sort of emerging technologies at the moment, and I'm wondering how teachers are finding integrating that within the curriculum.
It's just moving so fast paced. I mean, just in the last couple of years, the amount of content that's been released it's just been incredible, and we even toyed with kind of creating our own augmented reality spaces as well, and just the ability to actually create your own content, consume so much more content, and to think what in 2 or 3 years time what's going to be available is really, really exciting. So that's why I think it's super important at the moment to keep on using the buzzword, but immerse yourself in it, explore it, see what's out there, because it's only going to get bigger and better.
I mean, one of the questions we asked the audience there was, would you base an entire lesson around augmented reality as well? And the consensus was it's fantastic as a hook. It's another great tool to use, but not something that you would base an entire lesson on. It's fantastic for putting students into environments or to see artefacts that they wouldn't normally have access to in a classroom. But as regards taking lessons forward, it's another fantastic hook available to teachers.
Just to add on that as well, it puts a context to lessons as well. It frames lessons really well and gives children exposure to an experience that they wouldn't otherwise be able to have access to. And you can do that from the luxury of your classroom or outdoor environment, which is great.
That's something else I think that's great about it. It is immersive, but also it's quite a levelling technology in that it lets everyone get involved, no matter, rich, poor, wherever you are really.
Yeah, and that was one of the big whys that came out from the session as well, was its accessibility, and Ciarán highlighted that point as well, was the difference between AR and VR is you're not kind of fully immersed in augmented reality, and it's so accessible for anyone with a device to have access to it, just a huge amount of content.
Yeah, our experience of the augmented reality as well versus the virtual reality, and we are fans of virtual reality as well, but for the augmented reality there's a lot of opportunity for students to collaborate together. It's wonderful to see kids standing around a device and having real conversations with each other, rather than, and I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but rather than being alone in a virtual world. And I'm sure virtual reality technology is catching up and will catch up and will be more collaborative, but at the moment augmented reality gives that extra edge when it comes to collaboration and students communicating with each other as well. That isn't quite yet there in virtual reality.
And I think one of the other themes we've had quite a bit is the notion of teaching children for jobs that don't yet exist. That seems to be quite a big theme and a concern, just because the technology seems to be at really the starting point. Someone was describing it to me the other day that it was like the beginning of the internet or mobile phones 10 years ago. We just don't know where it's going.
10 years ago we wouldn't be like, people would be looking at us thinking we're absolutely crazy sitting here and looking at us as if we've two heads on, and that's 10 years ago, and you see how much has changed in that time. So much still hasn't changed in that time either, which is something that we need to kind of look at ourselves in the mirror with as well, because technology isn't going away. it's only going to get bigger and better and become more immersive and more prominent in children's lives because they're growing up with it and have never really had a life without it. So exactly what you're saying, in 10 years' time as well, people are going to be looking at us and possibly laughing at the fact that we're talking about augmented reality as well. So ever the more importance and emphasis on us moving with the times, exploring, seeing what's out there, critiquing it, and coming up with our own content and making things that bit better. And
I think in about 10 years' time, people will be looking and saying, oh, remember those augmented reality apps where you had to find a flat surface first? And then, I'm just looking for Minority Report. I want to see everything up around in front of me and be able to manipulate it in the sky, in front of me. But yeah, I think even now some of the augmented reality apps feel a bit old, because you do have to find a flat surface, and if the lighting isn't right or whatever, then you're not going to be able to get that. So I think in a few years' time we'll be looking back and as you say, thinking, oh my goodness me, that was a really old-fashioned way of getting the AR to work, wasn't it? Just to find a flat space.
And you were using an iPad as well. Oh my gosh, what were you thinking?
And what tips would you give to teachers looking to start to integrate that sort of technology in their classroom?
Be a kid and play, and really just go out there and explore and collaborate with one another, look what other people are doing, and really being open-minded to it as well, because ultimately you don't know what you don't know. And if you're willing to kind of have an open mindset, have a little play around, play with the kids, because believe it or not, the kids in your class will be able to show you a hell of a lot about the iPad and AR and VR that we know nothing about. So play, be like a kid and play.
As we said previously as well, don't base the whole lesson on the AR as well. It's a fantastic hook. It's a fantastic, perhaps, end to a topic as well. In our research for our presentation today, there were a lot of AR apps that we jettisoned. We just said that's not good enough. That's not good enough. That's not what we want from AR, from an app. So again, what I would say to teachers is be willing to look at AR applications and say that's not good enough. Goodbye, and also not to hang your entire curriculum delivery on something that's nice and shiny.
Final question, what's been your favourite thing about GESS Dubai so far?
Him.
I wish I could say speaking with Ciarán, but it's lovely just to see so many just incredible things that are like, which seems just a year or two ago light years away, and just how forward thinking things are. It's really, really exciting. And we've got one of our own students, Adam, who's been speaking at guest talks here as well. So seeing him on stage as well is just incredible. And the message that he's delivering is the message that we believe in as well. And we're kind of thinking, do you know what? If our teachers and if our leaders had this similar mindset, we'd probably be moving light years quicker than we already are, possibly.
Yeah, I think for me, it's the size of GESS. That you can have everything in one place. It's the number one education conference for us anyway to go to, and we're always delighted when we get an invitation to speak, and we'll always say yes. And I think for us at Jumeirah English Speaking School, we love sharing as well as an organisation, and so it's great for us to be able to come here and share.